Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'll close that off. Welcome to a Garden Warfare 2 ability tier list. I've done a tier list before, and it's been a while since I've done one. I think I've done characters last time. So today we're taking a look at the abilities. Now, I put up a vote poll earlier on today, s- basically saying to you guys, would you like to see more tier lists and stuff like that? And a lot of people said yes. So I figured why not do the abilities? I think it would be quite cool if you guys want to see more tier lists and you enjoy this kind of video or you enjoy the channel in general. Make sure you drop a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe as well, and turn the notification bell on. This is going to be interesting. There's a lot of different abilities here. As you can see, there's a lot of them. So this is going to be an interesting little debate. If you guys want to let me know what your what your thoughts are in the comments. Make sure you do. I'm interested to see where you guys would rank these. So, as always, let's jump into it. So, first of all, we have Long Bomb. So, Long Bomb for me is an interesting one. I I'm gonna rank these from my experience facing them, using them, and it mainly also like in popularity. So long bomb's an interesting one. Not a lot of people use it. I know a few people, Lava Lord, Bouncy, they both like using it. I've used it once or twice. I've had a couple of decent kills with it, but in terms of trying to get used to it, because I've used Imp Punt for so long, I don't know. In terms of damage, though, it's interesting. You basically have to aim it well. If you land it, you're good. If you completely miss, you're screwed. And it's interesting. So long bomb, I'm gonna put for B for now. That might be a bit controversial, but let me know what you guys think in the comments about all of these abilities. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Um, Obviously, this is just all of my opinion. Obviously, don't, base the abilities off what I say. Test them out for yourself and see what you say. Next is All-Star Dummy Shield. Now, this one's interesting because I never really used All-Star Dummy Shield before. And until recently, I've actually been using it a lot. For example, when I come up against a pea shooter in Team Vanquish and I see a beam bomb in front of me, I place these uh, dummy shields down, and it actually does block it. So in terms of like not using it before, I would probably put it at C, but they're actually quite useful. You can place two of them down, so you can also block off chompers. I've blocked burrow chompers off a few times. It's came in clutch a few times as well from like beam bombs and other abilities. So I'm gonna put that with long bomb. I think I've used that. It would be C tier if I didn't use it, but because I have been using it a little bit recently, I reckon that's a decent spot. Burrow, oh god, we all know what Burrow's like. It's the most beautiful, most frustrating thing probably in the game. Um, it from my perspective for using it, I like it. It definitely does work 99% of the time. People can and have learned how to what's the word? Basically counteract you by using a bow. So for example, if you're an all-star, you can imp punt them. You can ZPG them with foot soldier. You can stun them at the ground with engineer. There's a lot of different counters to borrow, but in terms of like annoyance, I find it really annoying when I get mid-air borrowed. You guys have seen me get mid-air borrowed a lot of times. Uh, I'm gonna put this in A tier. As much as there's a lot of counters, there's been some great moments with borrow and like getting mid-air borrowed and getting mid-air borrowed kills. It's just been great. I think it's a lot of fun. And it's just stupid, It's stupid, but it's an ability that we always have remembered, and I feel like we always will remember it because of how it has been implemented into the game. So next is Artichoke. I'll be honest with you, I'm I'm gonna put this D tier along with the red artichoke because don't get me wrong, yeah, I've tried them both once or twice. I didn't like them. I personally prefer dark garlic drone now and normal garlic drone compared to these two. I, and I don't know, they just don't. Even in Team Vanquish, Turf Takeover with the Corn Strike, they just don't get the job done for me. And I don't know, I feel like they're both very similar. I think the red one's a little bit quicker than the green one. I'm not sure what the difference is between them. Let me know in the comments, but I don't know, man. I just never clicked with Artichoke. It was just never an ability that I went, oh wow, I've got to buy that. Oh, I've got to use that. I never use them, and it kind of sucks because judging from we had normal garlic drone down here for so many years. We get those two, and then dark garlic drone. I was kind of hoping that these two would do a bit more, but just not for me. I think it's just not for me. Iron Maiden. I'm gonna put this along with. Actually, no. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in C tier. Now, hear me out. Okay, I played Cactus a lot. Um, before I got King Johnny, which is right here. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's gonna be a controversial one. Um, I never used Iron Maiden. I don't know why. I just never found a use to block stuff like the dummy shield for All Star. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should use Iron Maiden more. But now that I've got King Johnny, I'll obviously use that because it looks cooler. But in terms of like popularity and uses, I see a lot of people using this thing, especially if they don't have King Johnny from Rux. So I'm gonna put it C tier. It's not terrible. It does have its uses every once in a while. But personally, I put it C tier for now. Mainly because I don't use it loads. I never did. And I don't know. Maybe I should start using it more. You never know. Oh God. Okay. I tell you what. Unicorn. I'm gonna put A tier. Now you'll see why in a little bit. There is another ability very similar to it that I will talk about. But in terms of Unicorn, I think it's a great ability. I think it's a little bit OP. You can basically just teleport behind everybody and just kill them. In terms of creativity, I think it's fantastic. I love the colors. I love it how it works. I love how it moves. It's very interesting because it's only allowed on one chomper. You can't use it on Hot Rod. You can't use it on Armor Chomper. Could you imagine this ability with Armor Chomper? Like, bro, it would be OP. You would have all that health and you could just teleport behind them. Yeah, I don't know, man. But in terms of like creativity, I think this is a great little ability. You'll know why I put it in A tier in a minute, but overall, I use it a lot in Town Hall whenever I feel like playing Unicorn, and when I was leveling up Unicorn, it definitely came in handy. So I think A tier is a solid little spot for that. Obviously, Sprint Tackle, I use this a lot. Um, I use this a lot. I'm gonna put it in A tier along with Burrow and Unicorn Teleport. I'll just call it Unicorn Teleport for a bit. I use a lot of sprint tackle. I sprint tackle a lot. It's basically a habit. I'm addicted to the triangle button on my PlayStation 4 controller. Um, you could probably wonder why I didn't put it S tier. I don't get many kills with it. It's more like of a panic button click. So basically, for example, I have like 5 or 6 plants in front of me. I just want to knock them all, damage them all. That will come in handy. I've never got loads of kills with it. I've had a few triple kills here and there, but in terms of popularity, I feel like a lot of people do like this ability. In terms of like you know being OP, I think it is, but the damage isn't quite there, which is kind of nice. Because if it hit like 100 damage, it would just be ridiculous, and I'm kind of happy it's not incredibly OP. Chomp Cannon, I'm I think this is it's in between A and S for me. It's very, very underrated, I think. I feel like a lot of people overlook this ability. I should start using it a lot more. A lot of people have told me that if you can get good with it, it is ridiculous. It's basically a miniature ZPG for the Chomper. And don't get me wrong, I've used it a few times on Armor Chomper, Count Chompular, Power Chomper, whoever, and it's definitely damaged them. And the good thing about this as well, it also has splash damage, so that's very interesting. And I tell you what, I think I do enjoy the ability. It's a shame that I don't use it a lot. I'm gonna put it A tier. I think if I used it more and I really enjoyed it, I'm gonna put S tier. There is definitely gonna be some S tiers up here. Don't worry. But I think Trump Cannon's going to be in a solid A tier for now. It's definitely a fun ability. Maybe I should give it more of a try. Let me know. Ian Peach, this thing is S tier. I don't care what people say. This thing's just ridiculously OP. It is super annoying. The amount of Citrons in my Garden Warfare 2 career I have come up against that click L1 is unbelievable. Honestly, man, it is ridiculously stupid. It's basically in punt but it stuns you and it does a little bit of damage over time. I've got one or two kills with it here and there, which is quite funny. But in terms of like unfairness and annoyingness and OP, being ridiculously stupid, I reckon it's S tier. A lot of people use it. It's everywhere on every pretty much game mode. Whenever you're an Iron Citron, an Electro Citron, Party Citron, whatever, people are using this thing on the daily. And in terms of like me using it, I use it quite a bit. It definitely does help out, especially when you're playing Citron, but it's super annoying to come up against. I'm pretty sure anyone can agree with me there. It's either A or S tier because it's just so annoying. Super fun to use because you can troll a lot of people, and yeah, it's just an S tier for me. It always was ridiculously stupid, but it's also cool to use. So this one, I'll be honest, I'm gonna put it in D tier. Sprint Borrow. And hear me out, yeah. I've used it a lot. I've tried to make it work with Hot Rod Chomper, with the double speed. I've tried to make it work with Armor Chomper, more health. It just doesn't last long, man. Like, I get the whole idea, you're meant to be quicker, but you just don't get anywhere with it, man. I'd rather use Unicorn, Twilight, Teleport, or Burrow, and I don't know, I've used it several times with different Chompers. It's just never worked for me, man. I just don't like it. It's way too short. I don't think it's worth it. I think you should just rather stick with Burrow until you unlock. Oh, you might not even unlock Twilight or Unicorn, but if you don't unlock those two, just use normal Burrow. This just doesn't last long enough, in my opinion, and I don't see many people using it, if not at all, which kind of sucks. You hear the word Sprint Burrow, you think it's going to be ridiculously OP, but I'm kind of glad that's not, because if it was, it would be a pain in the backside. So Citron Ball. It's not terrible. I'm gonna put it in C tier next to Iron Maiden. Now, I use this from time to time, mainly to get out of battles. Believe it or not, I don't use it to, you know, kill people. I've had a few kills here and there, but I think it's similar to Iron Maiden. It's good in certain situations. Otherwise, 9 times out of 10, you're not really gonna use it. I think most people just use um, the normal ball for Citron, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not working for me. I think that is the one that charges up and then fires, and then this one down here is the super speed one, and then that one's where you actually turn into a ball. So if I got that right, I'll put this in C tier because I've used it a few times, but it's good in okay situations. Otherwise, I'm not really use it. Endless Zone, I'll be honest, I'm gonna put that in D tier. I never bothered with this ability, to be honest with you. I just can't be bothered. I know there's like, you get more than the dummy shield, but I don't know. They're just way too weak. I personally never use them. Let me know if you've ever used this ability. Do you like it? Let me know. Maybe I'm missing out on something. I don't know. But in terms of like usefulness and you know what it can actually do, I would rather just use the two dummy shields rather than like four or five of these that can basically get one shotted. So it's not great in my opinion. But like I said, this whole list is just my opinion and my speculation. So if you have any changes, any debate, leave it in the comment section below. Ultra Tackle. I've never really used it. I reckon it does have its uses. I think it. The thing is between this one and the normal one, this one doesn't go as far, but it's more damaging as far as I know. I think that's the gimmick behind it. But I think it would have its uses. I might give it a shot whenever I play with a certain All Star. You know, Hockey Star play a lot of that character, so I think this could work. Um, I don't know. I'm a bit on the bench for this one. I've never properly tried it. I've kind of just stuck with that normal sprint tackle because it's good enough. I know this one does more damage, but if it doesn't go as far, maybe it's better. Because sometimes, I must admit, sometimes when you use a normal one, you do go a bit too far. Like you completely miss the enemy, and then you have to turn all the way around. But maybe this one could be good. I don't know. Maybe a B tier if I use it more. But I reckon C tier's alright. Sonic Mine. I don't think it's as OP as EM Peach. But in terms of like popularity and the amount of times I've seen people use it, I'm gonna put it S tier as well because the amount of times I've used this thing in terms of like I said earlier, counteracting chomper burrows, just stunning pogo peas. It comes in clutch. It really does, and it always has done, in my opinion. Um, I use it a lot, but not as much as I think it would. But in terms of like popularity and it's decent. It definitely does slow down the gameplay of enemy players, so I think it's up there with Ian Peach. It's not as annoying as Ian Peach, but it is annoying, believe me. If you're a chomper, this thing's just gonna ruin your day. So King Johnny, oh boy. Straight D tier, personally. I prefer Iron Maiden. Um it's complete garbage. It's not worth 500 grand, 750 grand. Wolfie was completely wrong about this ability. I think it's terrible. I don't rate it at all. I'm joking, I'm joking. I'm joking, I'm joking, I'm joking. I think I must admit, I'm going to be honest here. In terms of popularity, it is definitely up there because of how many people have seen other people use it. But I'm going to put it with B tier. I think it's better than Iron Maiden. I'm going to put it in the middle. I need to use it more. I'll be honest with you. I must admit, when I play Cactus, I don't use the shield much, like either of them. So don't take that personally. I'm pretty sure you both at home, all of you at home, Wolfie and all that, would put it up in S tier. But in terms of like actually using it myself, I'm gonna put it in B tier. I sometimes use it, I sometimes don't. I use it more than Iron Maiden, that's for sure, and it just looks cooler. So, by the way, don't ruin me in the comments. I was joking about putting it in D tier. Calm down, deep breath. Calm down, calm down. It's all good. Potato Nugget Mine. I've never used this thing. I'm gonna put it in D tier. I've never used it before. I think you get like what, 5 or 6 of these things, something like that. 4, 5, maybe 6. I don't know how good they are to be honest. I've never used it. Because the normal potato mines is just good. They do the trick. They get the kills. They do the damage. They're normal potato mines are great fun for you know trolling enemies and stuff like that through Time Park and stuff like that as well. Through the portals, you can just blow everybody up. But in terms of the potato nugget mine, I never used it. Um, I just kind of forgot about this ability. I'll be honest with you. I always, every now and again, I might see 1 or 2 people using it out of the 20 matches I play. But no, I'll be honest, I've completely forgot about this thing most of the time, and I just don't rate it. To be honest with you. Dark Beam Bomb. Ooh, see, this one's a interesting one because this for me is A tier. Now, don't get me wrong, yeah. I know you get 2 of them. They look fantastic. They look they look actually pretty cool. I like the color on it and all that, but I don't use it often. I bought it from Rocks a while back now, and I used it once and that was it. I never used it again. I see a lot of people using it mainly for jumping from one side of the map to the other. You know, on like Seeds of Time or Great White North or even Zombopolis when you're attacking or defending its plants. I see a lot of people using Dark Beam Bomb to beam jump. And by the way, I still haven't learned how to do that. I don't think I really need to, but whoever does beam jump, let me know. Do you think this is worthy of an S spot? I think it's A personally because I don't use it. But I guarantee you, if I got a hang of this, it might be S tier. The reason why it's A tier mainly for me though, it just doesn't get kills, and in my opinion, beam bomb has always got kills, and this one just doesn't work for me. I've got spray and beam bomb here. Yes, I have. Okay, cool. But yeah, in terms of popularity, I see a lot of people use this thing mainly to transport, not really get kills. So I reckon it's an A tier. Um, yeah, I reckon it's A tier. Beam Bomb is just regular. I'm gonna put it C tier. It obviously a short fuse. It blows up quite quickly. I'm not gonna lie, you kind of forget about this one as soon as you unlock Sombrero Beam Bomb, and then if you really want to use this once you unlock it, the Dark Beam Bomb, you kind of leave Sombrero and regular Beam Bomb behind. So, in terms of when you first start the game, this definitely does come in handy. A few times you might get one or two kills by it, maybe three kills inside the capture point on turf, but um, it's not bad. It's short fuse, a little bit too short for my liking, but in terms of damage, it still does the trick. So I reckon C tier. If it was a little bit longer, like just a smidge bit, lasted longer, I'd probably put it B tier. But I think it sits quite nicely there. Now, I would put this probably B tier, but because I have used it when I leveled up Twilight Chomper not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, I reckon it's A tier. Now, here is my reasoning behind that. I never used Twilight before. Obviously, I think the main difference between Twilight 1 and Unicorn 1 is that one of them goes further. I'm not sure what one, but if it is Twilight that goes further than Unicorn, that's one of the reasons why I like it. But this thing is just so OP, man. It the amount of times, like for example, I would load up Team Vanquish on Frosty Creek, yeah, and literally I would just teleport across the map with this thing and get first strike straight away. It was just ridiculous. The range on it was ridiculous. The speed on it was good. The recharge wasn't bad. The way it moves, the way it handles, like Unicorn was cool. The only reason why I like this one more than this one is because I used it more, and I reckon it's a little bit better than Unicorn in my opinion. But no, I think this is S tier worthy. If you know how to use this properly, it is the most annoying, possibly one of the most broken abilities in the entire game. So it's definitely one to keep an eye out for, especially if you've never used Twilight. So keep an eye out for it. Anyway, up next is Spiky Spikeweed. I'll be honest with you, I'd used this for a little bit. I think I still use it from time to time, but I've been using regular Spikeweed at the moment, mainly because you get more of them. But I'm gonna put this in C tier personally. I think this one does more damage. I'm not sure. I never understood the gimmick for this one. I think it is more damage, but don't quote me on that. But in terms of popularity, again, um, I used it for a little bit. I used it on a few chompers for a while, but then I went back to the normal spikeweed for a little while, and I tell you what, I've been enjoying that at the moment. So it'll get the job done for you. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's a decent ability. It's not the greatest, but it works. Super sticky goo. I'm gonna put this B tier. Now, I used to use this a lot. Okay, when I was doesn't matter what chomper I was using, I would use this a lot. And this one is I think it's the quick, no, it's a slow recharge time, but it disables your turning, I think, or is it the one that moves? I'm not sure. It's one of those two, but this one for me when I used it was great fun. Definitely helped me out in a lot of situations. Facing engineers, scientists, all stars, whatever. Super Brains especially is fantastic to use this on. It disables their movement a lot, and personally, I think that's fantastic for a Chomper because Chomper's all about maneuverability. You want to get in there quick, get behind them, eat them all, get out there pronto. And I think overall this ability's decent. Um, it's not bad. It's all right. Yes, I did put it in the same as King Johnny, but you got to remember I'm rating this from popularity to actually using it. myself. Obviously, you guys will disagree with this list. Let me know if there's anything in here that you do disagree with. I can see a few things already that you will. But yeah, I reckon Super Sticky Goop, it'll sit comfortably in the middle. Citron Ball, I've used this a lot to be fair. I'm gonna put it, if this is the one where it allows you to go like click triangle and just, you know, basically roll around, I'm gonna put it S tier, believe it or not. I find this thing so annoying because if this is the one where you click triangle and it basically puts you into the ball, it's just so annoying to come up against. The amount of ballers you come across, the amount of Citrons that use it, it is just a nightmare. And I use it a lot, I'll be honest with you, especially when I'm in, like, I'm just by myself with a Citron, just rolling down G-Tech Factory down the middle, and there's like 4 or 5 scientists heading my way. I jump into that and go the opposite way because I'm not facing them by myself as a Citron. So in terms of like actual usage, I think this thing is pretty useful. As much as people ball with it, I still think um yeah, it definitely does have its uses. I think without this thing, Citron will be a bit unmovable. He is a little bit slow in terms of normal movement, so I think for its usage and that, I think it deserves S tier. Mood Shield, I'll be honest, I'm gonna put this C tier. Um, I tried using it several times. I still don't understand the whole idea behind it. Maybe I need to use it more, but in terms of like how long it lasts, how good is it blocking damage, I don't rate it for a Rux ability. Like compared to King Johnny, flipping Dark Beam Bomb, like compared to those two, I don't rate this very high because I don't know, it just doesn't last long. It's a bit weak, in my opinion. For a shield, it doesn't cover all of you. You can still shoot the bottom of your feet and maybe a bit of your head. So it's very limited, in my opinion. And personally, it doesn't work. And it's the same thing with normal shield. Like I use the shield, but half of the time I actually forget that it's there. This one I use it a little bit more, not a huge amount to push it up to B tier, but yeah, I think they're both just going to sit C tier. Uh, it's just, yeah, it's not terrible. I see a lot of people using them, but in terms of my usage, it's not that high. This, I believe, is the one where you click L1, so you speed around. It definitely has its usage, but I'm going to put it in B tier. It's got me out a lot of situations. It runs out a bit quick, I'll be honest, but I'm actually kind of happy that happens because imagine chasing someone for like a minute straight with this equipped and that equipped. Rolling around in a ball with super speed for the next 2 minutes on, I don't know, Seeds of Time is going to be a nightmare. So if that's the one where you actually click L1 and it speeds you around quicker, I reckon it sits comfortably in the middle. I use it a little bit, but it's just a bit too quick and over and done with for me. Bigger, better, butter. Now, this thing is ridiculous. I have had countless and countless of multi kills. I never always owned disability, believe it or not. I got it not long ago. I eventually rebought the deluxe edition for the game, but ever since I used it, it's just done everything. It's fantastic. I know it's just one big piece of butter, but in terms of like damage, the radius isn't bad either. I think it's a solid ability. I reckon it's definitely up there with these. The amount of times I got killed by it, the amount of times it just comes out of nowhere and just drowns me in butter. The amount of times I got killed with it on different game modes, it's just great. And especially when you throw it in there with a corn like party corn or commando corn, and you get your legendary mode by using that. It's such a great feeling when you hear all of the ding noises when you get the kills. So I reckon it's seriously ridiculous. If it was a bit bigger of a radius, I reckon S plus, but very very fun to use, very satisfying. I love that ability. Butter Barrage, I'll be honest with you, not fantastic. I'll put it in C tier. Now I've used this ability a lot because obviously I never always had bigger better butter, but this ability was just a bit too weak for me. It creates like an X shape or whatever, and personally, I don't know, man. It just doesn't cut it. I've never really got kills with it. I kind of just threw it in the middle of a capture zone, um, just to do damage. Really, I never got multi kills. I never got loads of kills with it singularly. It's just nowhere near as good as Bigger Better Butter in my opinion. Obviously, for a starting ability, it's okay, but as soon as you get access to this thing, if you buy the upgraded edition, just use it straight away. Honestly, it's so much better. Huskop, S tier. It's annoying. I use it a lot. I see a lot of people use it. I probably would say this is more annoying than Burrow. To be fair, I've just gotten so used to Burrow by now since Garden Warfare 1. It's in A tier, but Huskop is just, oh my god, it's just such a get out of jail free card. It's basically going to McDonald's and they say, yeah, here you go. Here's a free Big Mac every single day you come in for the next 20 years. It's just OP. You click triangle, the story's over. Sometimes it doesn't work. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it does glitch out, so that's what would make me put it in A tier. But in terms of like damage and radius and height and all of that stuff, it's just ridiculous. I've been killed this thing probably more than Burrow, I reckon. Unfortunately, I would never know, but I reckon this thing is just it's just stupid. Like, don't get me wrong, there's been a few times it doesn't work properly, but when it does, it's just a nightmare to deal with. But it is also quite nice to use as a core and main. So you know what, it deserves S tier. It's just ridiculously stupid. Multi shark. I'm gonna put it down here in D tier. I don't even have this ability yet, but I've seen a lot of people use it. It just doesn't work. I saw a lot of people use it when it first came out, and nowadays people just don't use it. Like I see like one person use it because they think it's good, but I guarantee you after that match or two, they realize it's doing absolutely nothing, and then they just go back to the regular one. But in terms of like my usage, popularity, damage, all that stuff, it's D tier for me. It just sucks. It's just not good enough, in my opinion. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It just doesn't work for me. I've never liked it. This thing is good fun. Um, but I'm gonna put it B tier. Now, listen to my reasoning. The amount of times I've got first strike with this thing is unbelievable. This is the normal shuck shot. It's just two shuck shots that fire. Now, the only problem is I have with this ability is where it splits over time. So, for example, you shoot it straight across the map on Colosseum Team Vanquish. It splits apart, and then it ruins your direct kill. You know what I mean? It completely misses half of the time because of that. And I could have had so many more first strikes putting it A tier, S tier, but because it splits, that's literally the reason why it's in B tier. I find it so annoying when it does that. The splash damage isn't fantastic, but literally the only reason why it's in B tier is because I've got a lot of kills with it, but there's a lot of things I don't like about it when it splits apart because it's just not fun when it does that. It's super annoying. Hillflower. It's regular. I'm gonna put it C tier. Everybody likes Hillflower. It's not OP. It's just there type of thing. A lot of people use it. If it was a bit more OP. By the way, I'm also ranking these in terms of like OPness. That's not what I said. In terms of how OP they are. This isn't. It's just there. You know, people use it. It's a sunflower ability. We all get it. We know what it does. And stuff like that. S tier. Okay. Now hear me out. I still have to get used to this ability. I don't use it a lot. I barely use Garlic Join, to be honest with you. I normally just use Future Cactus. Future Cactus is literally first ability, which is the Potato Mines, and that's the only ability I use on Cactus. But in terms of like how many people use it, I come up against this thing on the daily. It's just stupid. It's annoying. It's the splash damage is ridiculous. Rux sells it at a ridiculous price, and I think it deserves the S tier. I think it's definitely up here with all of these abilities, in my opinion. Wherever I go, that thing flipping follows me, and it's really annoying. Normal garlic drone, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Again, it's standard. It does a trick. It's not bad. It's definitely better than red artichoke and normal artichoke. It's nowhere near as good as dark garlic drone in my opinion because there's no splash damage. You have to be accurate with the direct hits. But in terms of like how many people use it and how much I used it before I got this, it does the trick. You know, it's decent. It gets kills. just does the job for you, and it's always quite nice when the ability does that. Proximity mine. This is similar to, be honest with you, this is similar to potato nugget mine. I've never used it because the regular engineer stun is good enough for me. I see a few people use this. I think you get like what, three of them, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I have no idea what this ability is like. I never used it in my life, to be fair. So yeah, let me know. Let me know about that one. I'm not sure. Turbo Jackhammer is A tier for me. I think it's a lot of fun. It's fantastic. It lasts a while. The speed is nice. Recharge is a little bit slow. If it wasn't, I might put it in S tier, but A tier, it's just great. Ever since I got it, I've just been using it over regular Jackhammer every single day whenever I play Engineer. So a fun ability, not much bad apart from the recharge time, in my opinion. But apart from that, good. P Gatling, personally, I think it's ridiculously OP. It always has been. Um, there's a lot of things to say about P Gatling. It has a lot of ammo. It does damage. The rate of fire is great. The range is great. I don't think there's many problems with it. The only reason why I would put it in A tier is because of ZPGs, but that's been in the game for so long. I've kind of gotten used to it. So in terms of like actual ability though, I'm gonna say S tier. It's just it does the job, and if you're in the right place at the right time, you will manage to get like a multi kill if you're lucky. So Sticky Goop, I'm gonna put it alongside Super Sticky Goop. Now don't get me wrong, I prefer this one, but I feel like they're both relatively similar. They both have their uses, but I like them both. I guess I don't like more than one than the other. Personally, so yeah, it does the trick. It does slow down the enemies. I like it. The recharge is really quick, which is great. Um, I would put it up to A tier if the goop lasted a tiny bit longer, but in terms of what I just said, I reckon it sits comfortably next to regular goop and super sticky goop. So I reckon that's quite good. Hill Station, I reckon it's the same as Sunflower. It's not OP in my opinion. I don't use this, believe it or not. I actually use the Hill Beam, which is all the way down here. But nah, I don't know. It's just there for me. I never used it really. I never bothered because I like the Hill Beam more. I see a lot of people use it, but I don't know. I just never bothered trying using that thing because I feel like it gets damaged and broken way too easily by the plants. And I don't know. It just doesn't. It's just there for me. It's decent. What is it? This is regular Sunbeam. Okay, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Now hear me out. Yeah, reason why I prefer P Gatling to this is because I don't see many people using this. Now don't get me wrong. I see a few people use it. It's decent, but in terms of my own experience, I don't use it. I generally don't use it. It's just reason why it's in B tier and it's not like all the way down here, D or C tier, is because it will do the trick. It will get you kills. You could get ZPG'd like you do with P Gatling every now and again. I see people use it a few times. Camping in the corner as Shadow Flower gets really annoying. But yeah, I don't know. I never used it. I never bothered with that thing. So I believe this is the upgrade beam. I'm gonna put it with the sunbeam because I get a lot of people ask me about Hovergoat. What do you think of him? I don't mind Hovergoat. I think him and Torchwood for me are both on the same level, but it does help out a lot. Especially when you're playing like Super Commando or Scientist or someone like that up close. It definitely does buff your damage, and it definitely does do the trick, especially if you want to take out one or two enemies quick, fast, and you've got to have the Hovergoat with you 24/7. So the only thing I don't like about it is the range. Like if it was a little bit longer range, it might be like B plus, but I think it sits comfortably in the middle. It will get you kills. It will make your damage go up. It's not stupidly OP, but it does the job. So Mega Beam, I reckon again, it's the same as the Sunbeam. Um, it works. If you want to use it, go for it. It will definitely get you kills. I don't use it a lot. I don't use Hovergoat a lot. I basically leveled him and Torchwood up to max, and then never used him again. So who knows? I might pay a visit to that. So it might be A tier worthy. I don't know. But yeah, I reckon it sits comfortably in B tier alongside Sunbeam. I think they're both relatively similar. They both have decent damage. They're both pretty decent at range as well. So I think it's good. I reckon it's a little bit better than Sunbeam, but that's just me. The speed upgrade. I've had this a few times, but it's not ridiculous. Like every 10 seconds you get it, so I reckon it sits comfortably alongside the Citron Ball ability over here. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely made me run quicker at the start of a match, but like if it was a bit more frequent, like every, I don't even know how you trigger it. I think you have to just randomly go near someone and use it. I don't see many people use it. I see them use it by themselves, but in terms of like helping your enemies, no, helping your allies, that's what I meant to say. In terms of getting speed, I don't see like get it often, so I reckon it's just C tier for me. It's just there. You know, if you want to use it, you use it. If you don't, you don't. Super P, this is just ridiculous. It's A tier, S plus, whatever you want to call it. You can pogo P with it. We all know what it's like. People dodge bullets here and there. You jump up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's just stupid. It's still popular in Garden Warfare 1. It's still popular in Garden Warfare 2, and it's just never really gone away, has it? It's the same as P Gatling. They've always both been fantastic. This can allow you to get up to high elevation spots while sitting in P Gatling as well. So I don't know, man. This is just always been one of those abilities. You will see it no matter what game mode you play, no matter what map you play. You will see at least one or two P shooters use this ability, whether they're running and dodging bullets like this or they're jumping up and down like an idiot. You will see it. Really, really annoying. I use it a lot myself. It's just straight S tier for me. Okay, so we got some mechs here. This is interesting. Now, I personally wouldn't class these as abilities. I mean, they are, but we'll rank them anyway. We've got Drake mech. I reckon it's B tier. It's decent. It does the trick. I've used this a few times. I think it's a lot of fun. Very close combat. So if you're like, I don't know, a P Gatling and you're sitting halfway across the map and you shoot this thing, you're not gonna have a great advantage. You can put up a shield, you can swoop towards them as well. But I don't know, man. It's just a little bit limited in terms of like movement and coming up against a P Gatling or even a bandit cactus or sniper or something, you will get damage quite easy from afar. So Scallywag, I reckon uh, I reckon it's A tier. I'm a bit biased because I do like Scallywag a lot. I've used this mech a lot. I love all of the abilities. I love how it moves. Um, I think all the mechs have relatively the same health anyway, but in terms of like abilities and stuff, I use this thing every time like get it. Every time I get it, I instantly click triangle. I think it's a bit better than Drake Mech because obviously the range on it, this cannon thing here is shooting cannon on his arm is actually quite damaging. It does like what 35, 40, I think, from afar, or if not close range. And you can also use it as a shotgun as well. So that it reminds me of Captain Deadbeard a lot. So it's pretty cool. I reckon in terms of that, I'm gonna put Reg Mech with that as well. I think it again has the missile madness, which is ridiculous. The stomp, I didn't really use the stomp. I never really needed to, but it's kind of just there as a backup plan. If you've got like two or three chompers up at your feet, you can just stomp on them. It will do damage if not kill them, and that's always nice to have in your back pocket just in case. But in terms of like using it, I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely OP sometimes, but it's just imp mech. It's gonna be OP. It's a giant robot for flip's sake. In terms of Bling Pylon mech, I'm just gonna put these two in here along with Drake mech. Now, don't get me wrong, I think they're both good fun. I've actually recently got this. I think, if not, that was another ability, but I think these two are a lot of fun. But I never found myself using them. I see a lot of Pylon imps use it, and it seems to work for them. So I reckon it sits comfortably in the middle with with Drake Mech personally. Shrimp, I reckon Shrimp's B plus. It's good. It's better than these three in my opinion, but it's a little bit lower than these two. I'm gonna put it in A tier though. I'm feeling generous. Shrimp Mech is a lot of fun, man. It's one of those ones that you just look and go, oh, I don't know about that one. But I'm telling you, that if you use it properly, with the laser beam and the water whirlpool where it pushes you back, it is ridiculously OP. And it takes a little bit getting used to, don't get me wrong, but the beam, like the main shooting beam coming from the mech itself, is actually quite ridiculous. I've used it a lot when I was leveling up Crimp, and I had a blast. So this is very similar to Regmech. Not much to say about it. I think it's better than Regmech a little bit, but the other abilities are down here, as you can see. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. Krusty Gigabomb. I reckon I'm gonna put it B tier. It reminds me of like a Scallywag version of Imp Hunt. I haven't used it tons, mainly because half the time I get killed using my Scallywag mech or any other mech within 2 seconds. But the Krusty Giga Bomb, I've used it a few times on Time Park. It's definitely got me a few kills. I definitely see potential in it. The blast radius, I don't know if it's any good. Damage seems decent. It's probably going to be the same as Imp Hunt. I'll probably put Imp Hunt in A tier, but in terms of like me using it, I reckon it's just below Imp Hunt, and it's sitting comfortably in the middle with the likes of Long Bomb. It's there if you need it. I feel like a lot of people most of the time actually just use the mech, but let me know what you think about this ability. I'm not sure. Gravity Nade. I'm gonna put it A tier. Um, Mainly because don't get me wrong, it's super annoying. I flipping hate this thing at the moment. Every single game I'm playing of Team Vanquish, Gravity Nade, Gravity Nade, Gravity Nade, Gravity Nade. It's just super, super annoying. It's super frustrating to go up against as a plant, especially if you're a pea shooter, a chomper, whatever. People can just throw it across the map. You get Gravity Naded, you get ganged up on. You basically finished. You're dead. But in terms of using it myself, I half the time actually forget to use this. I don't play Imp much at the moment, but it's definitely there. So many people use it. I'm kind of happy that it doesn't last forever. If it did last for a lot longer, then I would definitely put it like S tier because of how long it lasts. But in terms of like short recharge and how annoying it is, I reckon A tier is a decent little spot with it. It's the same as Burrow. It's there. You're running into it pretty much 24/7, but it's not OP. You can get out of it. You can fake people out of it as well. Future Dummy. I'm gonna put it C tier. I reckon it's similar to Iron Maiden, in my opinion. I know one or two people that use this to actually get kills, which is actually pretty cool, but I never used it. I don't see the point in using it. I don't even know what the difference is between this one and this one. I think this one just does damage when it blows up and it gets destroyed, but no, I reckon it's okay. It's not terrible. I've seen a few people use it, but I don't think it's as bad as Endless Zone shield decoys. I think it sits nicely in C tier. There's not much to talk about. But no, shout out to the people who actually get kills with this. Lava Lord, I know you're watching. Very creative. Imp Carter. It used to be good, but I'm gonna put it C tier. I see a lot of people use it. Half of the time, they don't kill me unless I'm on like lower than 30% HP. If you're above like 40-50%, there's a decent chance that you might survive it and then they might kill you after. But in terms of like actual ability wise, I don't use it. I see a lot of people use it, don't get me wrong. Like in terms of popularity, it would probably be A tier, maybe B tier, but in terms of like actual usage, it's okay. It's just kind of like a panic button. It's a little bit like, the Citron Ball. You kind of just get out there quick. You kind of just use it because you feel like you might get a kill or two. If you're lucky, you might get a kill or two, but I don't know. It's there if you need it. This thing is basically a bigger version of Imp Carter, but with Scallywag. I've used it once or twice. I'm gonna put it B tier with Krusty Gigabomb. Like again, it's a backup plan. I feel like a lot of people with these mechs just use the mechs itself, and sometimes they use abilities when they need to. But I've used this a few times. I've used it more than Krusty Gigabomb, believe it or not, and I've killed a few chompers with it in my time. It has decent range. You basically spin around, you shoot your cannon like crazy, and it's okay in clumps of enemies. 9 times out of 10, you're very vulnerable when you do that, because when you spin around, your whole back is, facing the enemy. They can shoot you then, and then you die. But in terms of usage, it's okay. I don't see many people use it. It's the same with Krusty Gigaron. I feel like these two abilities are very forgotten about sometimes. But yeah, it's alright. It's decent. This is normal jackhammer, classic jackhammer. I'm gonna put it B tier as well. I prefer turbo because it's quicker. It's decent. It lasts a little bit shorter, but it's more than enough for me. This has always been a decent ability in terms of like usage, especially if you don't have turbo jackhammer. This is just it's just there, It's there for chompers. It's there for just getting away from fights. It's always been trustworthy. Spike reading on it is a little bit annoying. Don't get me wrong, but you can fake people out with that, and it's decent. So in terms of that, I reckon it sits comfortably in B tier. It's a nice little ability. It's always nice to have it. This thing is. I want to use this more. I'll be honest. This is I think it's a Xenon blade or something like that. It's with this Z7 mech, the R1 ability. You basically have a massive sword and you slice people. I've had some pretty cool kills with it. I'll be honest with you. I would like to use it more. I don't know if it's A tier worthy, so for now I'm gonna put it in B tier. Alongside with this, I don't even know what it's called, but we'll call it the gravitational pull. The gravitational pull is very good. These two work basically hand in hand. Half of the time, you basically use the gravitational pull to pull the enemies in. They come flying in, and then you use your sword, and then you kill them, or if not, damage them, and then you finish them off with the mech. So I feel like the mech with the two abilities, in terms of like you know, all-in-one packages, I feel like the Zoo 7 mech definitely has the best abilities out of all the other mechs. Because these two things go hand in hand a lot. I see a lot of people use them. Half the time, people forget to use this thing. But if you trust me, if you learn how to use the mech's movement with this and this, it's decent. Sombrero B bomb, I reckon it is B tier. Now, don't get me wrong, I use this thing a lot. It's great fun, but a little bit long sometimes. I must admit, there's been a few occasions where you know, I plant it down. I think it's gone off already, but it hasn't. And there's been you may have seen my streams or some of my gameplays on Garden Warfare 2. I use this thing a lot to try and stand on top of it and jump high and glitch out the map or something. But apart from that, it's a decent ability. It's better than Beam Bomb. I don't know if it's as good as Dark Beam Bomb because this one has more usage. I think this one's just for kills, but this one could be for kills and transportation. So this one's decent. I prefer it to regular Beam Bomb. Um, Me personally, I would actually switch these two round like that. But in terms of like usage, again popularity, I think I would just keep them like that. This is people. It's basically an evolution chart. You will use this. You will unlock that. You'll use this for a while, and when you unlock this, you'll use that instead. If not, you'll stay to this instead of that. So, right, these two uh, are straight down here. I've never liked retro Gatling. Bling one is not much different. I think it's just it's bling. That's it. But in terms of like usage, damage, the rate of fire is just way too slow. The ammo is a lot less, as far as I remember. I haven't used this ability in such a long time. Regular P Gatling is just way better, in my opinion. It does everything, bro, and I don't see many people use this anymore, if not anybody. Let me know if you use Retro Gatling. Did you ever like it? Did you ever think it was good? Personally, I don't think it was. This wasn't terrible. I never used it, so I'm gonna put it B tier. I never used Super P Jump, mainly because this flipping annoying ability up here does the trick anyway. This thing's just here for me. It's not used at all. Maybe once in a blue moon you'll see someone use it instead of that, but this just does everything. It's the same thing with P Gatling compared to Retro Gatling. P Gatling and normal P move. I don't know what this is called. I can't remember, but these two abilities up here, they just do everything compared to the upgraded versions. You know what I mean? So I'm actually gonna move this down to D tier. Now that I think about it, these three are just there. They're the same with these other abilities, in my opinion. I feel like this one should move upwards, but I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But in terms of me using it, I'll pass. Looty Booty Barrel Blast, I reckon it's D tier, and normal Barrel Blast is in C tier. I use this one a lot sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, I'm never in close quarter situations with a Captain Deadbeard anyway because I'm a sniper. This one's not much different, I don't think. Again, please let me know if there's difference between the blinged one and the normal one. I don't think there is. I think it's just the visualization and the appearance is different. But in terms of like actual stats, I don't think it is much different. So I use this one more than this one. Cannon Rodeo, I reckon it's the same. It's there if you need it. I've used it a few times. I don't get many kills with this thing. You can get kills with it in terms of like direct damage, but in terms of flashing out enemies from like round the corners and making sure they're not camping, I've used this a lot on the third or fourth objective on Great White North when they're hiding behind the rocks. The final objective before you go into the Yeti King room on Great White North, I use this a lot to flash out enemies that are camping around the corners. Future Power is okay. I don't use it loads. I think, believe it or not, regular power is actually better. Mainly because I use it more. I get killed by this thing a lot more. Nowhere near as Dark Garlic Drone, but it's definitely there. It's definitely there. I don't know how good this one is. I never really used it myself. So, Bedazzling the Potato Mine, it's there. I reckon this is B tier. Potato mines have always been fun. You only get 3 of them, which if you get like 4 or 5 of them, I would definitely put them up in A tier because there's a lot more. But in terms of like damage wise, they're 9 times out of 10 going to kill the enemy if they're weak, if not full health. If you're an all star, you might survive, but if you're like a scientist or an imp, maybe a foot soldier, you're going to go boom boom. And it's the same thing with this. I don't know, just put it up there if not there. Imp Hunt is A tier. I'm joking. I reckon it's S tier. This thing is just ridiculous. It reminds me of Bigger Better Butter. It reminds me of P Gatling, and this I can't remember what this is called, but Imp Hunt is just everywhere, man. It is the most. It's quite possibly as popular as Hoscop in my opinion. It's just ridiculous. You see it everywhere. Every single all star and their mum and their dad and their sister and their college professor are using it. You're using it, I'm using it. It's just stupid. Like 9 times out of 10, you can actually burrow cancel a chomper, like I said earlier in the video, um, which is pretty funny. I've done it a few times and it feels great. I've got a lot of triple kills, double kills, whatever with this ability as well. So it's just ridiculous. In terms of rocket jump, I forgot about this ability. I'm gonna put it in B tier, C tier. It's not terrible. Again, if you don't have rocket leap unlocked from the packs or the sticker shop, I think Rocket Leap is the better one, which is down here. But in terms of Rocket Jump, this one makes you go higher, and Rocket Leap makes you go further. So in terms of getting to high spots, this is fantastic. It's probably the best thing for Foot Soldier, if not on Zombie side, apart from super range jumping and stuff like that. But I kind of forgot about it after a while. I prefer Rocket Leap. But in terms of like, if you don't have this one down here unlocked and you've only got this one, and you want to get up to higher places on rooftops as a Camo Ranger or Super Commando or even Centurion, this is definitely a good ability to use. So, Arcane Enigma, I reckon it's B tier personally. A lot of people use it. It's not OP by any means. I reckon it's more annoying than OP. It only does 20 damage. A lot of people use it to basically get out of fights, run away, sometimes kill you, but 9 times out of 10 people will use this thing to get out of a fight, and it's super super annoying. If it was a bit more OP, I'll probably say A tier, but it's decent. You can deal with it, especially if you're like an all star or something. So psychedelic goat, I reckon it's there. Goat fire is there. I don't see many people use this, mainly because people just don't see the difference. I mean, yeah, this one makes you go all blurry on the screen, but normal goat does it well as it is. It does the job. You can basically turn a zombie into a goat, as you can probably imagine. Goatify is it's the same as Arcane Enigma for me. I said Arcane Lotus. Arcane Enigma for me, it's there. It's very much just use it on a zombie, run away as a rose type of thing. It gets kind of annoying sometimes, but it doesn't last very long, so it's kind of cool. It's the same with Time Snare and Arcane Lotus, in my opinion. All of Rose's abilities are just they're more annoying than life threatening. This Time Snare does get on my nerves sometimes, but it is what it is. It slows you down. ZPG, I think it's S tier. It's the king of P Gatlings. It is. It just gets rid of them like that, bro. It does the trick. No matter where you are on the map, if you land a direct hit on the P Gatling, this little dude right here, P shooter, you're on the bench, mate. You're finished. This thing will ruin your day. Even as a sunflower, even as a cactus sometimes. This thing has been around for as long as I can remember, and every time I've used it, it's just great fun. Especially when you get a nice first strike kill or across the map kill with it, it's always fantastic fun to use. So, in terms of armor bling station and normal heal station, um, normal armored heal station, I mean, it's C tier. It's not terrible. I've seen one or two people use it. I don't use them at all. I think there's the same as regular. I think regular's a tiny bit better. This one basically has more health, if you couldn't guess, with the armor. And it heals slower than the regular. But yeah, I reckon it's just C tier. I don't use it often. It is what it is. So energy warp, a little bit annoying, but in terms of popularity, I'm going to say C tier. I don't see many people use it, believe it or not. I see more people use warp than anything. I definitely see more people, go into teleport and stuff like that, and Arcane Lotus and Enigma and go to fire with Rose than I do with Energy Warp with Scientists. So if I saw many people use it, it'd definitely be B tier, but I reckon it would sit comfortably in C tier. You see it every once in a while. It gets a little bit annoying, but you won't see it often. Hill Beam, in my opinion, is A. It's not super OP. The range on it's very small, but it's unlimited. And a lot of people say to me, "Cursed, why did you use this over hill stations? These three down here." And I'm like, bro, it's unlimited. If you want to heal someone, and I don't know, you want to get the most healing in the game, you don't have to wait. You can heal people straight away. You can teleport straight to them and heal them. You can revive them, then heal them. You don't have to wait for these three to come back, basically. And that's the main reason why I like it. It's a lot of fun to use. It's trustworthy. It heals them relatively well. You get decent XP from it as well. You get like 20 XP per second, half a second, whatever it is. The range is a little bit small, but I use it a lot, and I think it's fantastic. So, Mega Hill Bomb, I reckon it's down D tier. I never used it. I see more people use it than the Armored Hill Station, so I'm gonna move these down here. I think these three are lower than the Mega Hill Bomb. I feel like these two are up here actually. I see these two use more than these. They're kind of the same. I don't see more one than the other. It's kind of like whatever you use, you use. I see more people use these than the Hill Beam, but personal preference, I prefer the Hill Beam to be A. You got to remember this is based on popularity, how many people I see use it, how annoying it is, how I like it compared to other abilities, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things in this list you've got to take into consideration. We're not far from being done, to be fair. Zombie Sync Cloud. It's decent. It's B tier. I think it's. I always use this thing. It's not OP by any means. It's nice to just throw it down, kind of camouflage yourself as a foot soldier. Whether you're running from a P Gatling or you're running from a cactus at the back of the map, this thing does help you sometimes, and you can block out enemies' vision from it. You can also get a kill with it every once in a while, but yeah, it's okay. It's not OP as any means. Multi rocket, I reckon it's the same as multi shock. I see more people use multi rocket than they do multi shock, believe it or not. But it's just never worked, did it? Like I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because ZPG is just so ridiculously OP and fun, but this thing just never had a shot really. I see one or two people use it to try and slash damage people. I've seen one or two kills, but ZPG is just miles better, bro. It just is in every way, shape, or form. I know you get one bullet. This one you get like 3 or 4 shots, maybe five, but it just doesn't do damage, and I don't like it. So Rocket Leap, I reckon it is. I'm gonna say A tier. This thing, no, yeah, I reckon it's A tier in my opinion. I use this thing every single game, non-stop. Probably Most used ability compared to ZPG. Those two are probably my most used whenever I play Foot Soldier compared to any other zombie class. I use this thing every single game. I like to use it to get around the map, to get away from chompers when I'm not mid-air borrowed. I prefer this compared to regular rocket jump. I used to use rocket jump a lot, but ever since I got this, I've just used it every single day. So not much to say about that. Zombie Stink Cloud is there. I prefer a normal one, believe it or not. A lot of people say to me, why don't I use this one? This one lasts a lot less longer, but it does more damage. But here's the thing, I never saw Zombie Stink Cloud as a damage or getting kills ability. It's more of like a smoke grenade from Call of Duty. You use it to get away. You can use it to block their vision. You can use it to get a kill. But I don't know, this one just lasts longer, and I think that's fantastic. If this lasted longer, then I would switch it round, but in terms of duration, plainly because of that, I prefer the normal one. Vampweed, I haven't got this ability, but I've seen it several times. I'm putting it in A tier. This thing is ridiculous. I think it's the same as Gravity Nade, Trump Cannon. Trump Cannon is an interesting one now that I look at it, but Vampweed, I see a lot of people use it. I still don't have it. Rux, I know you're watching the video, you need to sell me this ability. This thing's ridiculous. You can get health back when you use it. I don't know how many you get. I think it's two, maybe three. I'm not sure. Let me know about that. But I want this ability. I've been waiting for it for the longest of time now. Rux is actually selling some new stuff today, so I'm going to log on in a minute. I've just remembered. And I'll be playing Garden Warfare 2 either tomorrow or I think it might be tomorrow, if not Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I want this ability. I think it's great fun, and the fact you get health back from it, and it does what Spikeweed does, it's just fantastic. Regular Spikeweed, I'm gonna say B tier. It's there, it's there, it's here, there, and everywhere. It's better than the damaging one, in my opinion, the spiky one, but I reckon Vampweed's better. In terms of like early on abilities, and you don't have this one or Vampweed, I think this one's fantastic for a default player or a newcomer. I think it's decent. It does the trick. You get three of them. You can trap enemies with it. It's just useful. It's there. It's the same thing with like Garlic Drone. It's there if you need it. It's trustworthy. It will get the job done. Sticky Bomb. I'm gonna put it B tier. I've used these a few times. You only get two of them, which is a bit of a bummer, but they do 50 damage each. So it's decent. If you had more, I reckon it definitely would be A tier, maybe S, because of how much damage it does. But the funny thing is about these, you can actually stick them to walls, stick them to your teammates, and you can still damage people with them. So I think that's very, very cool. You can do that. If it was strictly just like a grenade, you throw it near the enemy, then it explodes, and you can't throw it on walls or your teammate. I reckon it would be like C tier, but it has its uses. I use it here and there sometimes when I feel like just throwing them in there, getting quick damage on the enemy inside a turf takeover capture zone, and then rush in there and get the kills. It's there, you know what I mean? It will definitely get your damage done for you. Hill beam, very much like Hill scientist beam, the scientist beam up there, but I don't use it often. But it's decent. I prefer a scientist one because I use it a lot more. But in terms of like actual abilities, I don't think it's better than Hill Flower. I see people use them equally. Personally, I see more people use Hill Flower. Sometimes I see more people use that. Hill Beam. I reckon they're both relatively similar, so it's not that bad. Dark Flower. This thing's just stupid. I'm gonna put it A tier. I don't see it often anymore, but when it was really popular, it is OP as all hell. If it was still being used a hell of a lot today, straight away S tier. But because of how little people use it nowadays, I reckon it sits comfortably in A tier. It still is OP. I got killed by this thing the other day. It's a 3 round burst. It does like 30 damage. If it was more popular, it would be S tier, but in terms of like actual ability wise, it's OP in my opinion. It never got touched, it never got nerfed, and I reckon it should have been. But that's just my opinion. Solar flare beam, I reckon it's C tier. I prefer regular sunbeam in my opinion. This thing is okay. I think this one does more damage, but it doesn't last as long. So it's kind of like the other abilities I've spoke about before, but I prefer regular sunbeam if I'm honest with you. I see a lot more people use that. Sometimes I see people use this, but if you don't have this, then sunbeam I reckon is a bit more reliable. Lasts a little bit longer, does a little bit less damage. I think this one does more damage compared out of the two, but yeah, I reckon it's C tier. Rainbow Hill Beam, no different. I reckon it's C tier as well. I think it's the same as like Rainbow Hill Flower. They don't actually have much difference. I think they're actually very similar in terms of like heal rate, how quick you can heal your teammates, how quick you can heal the plant pots and stuff like that. I think there's not much difference between them. I think it's just literally the rainbow and that's it, as far as I know. There's not much difference, if not no difference, between the other two abilities. The exact same counterparts. So Super Guarded Ultra Ball, I'm gonna say B tier. I don't see enough people use this thing. I see a few Super Brains use it here and there, but not everyone has access to it because obviously it's a Rux ability. I still don't have this thing, which is stupid. So I need to get it alongside Vampweed. I'll use this thing a lot more once I have it, and same with Vampweed. But in terms of damage, it's good. You can outrun this thing very easily. It's very slow. You can block it with, I don't know, building or something like that. If it was a bit more quick and a bit more, knowledgeable about where it was heading and not going to blow up so easily by hitting a roof or something, maybe A tier. But because of how slow it is, you can easily avoid it, and I reckon it's B tier. But if you do land it, it would get you that kill 9 times out of 10. I reckon this is higher in B tier than that one. This is much more quicker. It does the same kind of thing. It's not homing. You have to aim with this one. This is regular Ultra Ball, but I think in terms of like actual abilities, this kind of does the same thing. It's just not homing and it's quicker. I reckon they're both in the same tier. Hero Kick. I'll be honest with you, not a fan of it. I reckon it's D tier. I really don't care to be honest. It just does nothing for me. I half the time I forget it. Turbo Twister, I reckon it's there as well. These two things back in the day when Garden Warfare 2 first came out were great fun, especially Turbo Twister. I reckon Turbo Twister would easily be B tier, maybe A, but D tier nowadays, man. Like, you use it just because you want to use it. You won't get a kill. And it's just boring. I remember when this Turbo Twister and the Heroic Cook were actually good. Like, people used to use them a lot when the game first came out. But nowadays, mate, people just use them for the sake of it. You won't get a kill with it. Like once every 20,000 games, you might get killed. But in terms of actual usage, this one's more to get away to Tulpus Star, and so is that one. They're more transportation, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't rate them. Ultra Ball, multi Ultra Ball. I reckon C tier. It's okay. It's not terrible. I think you shoot like 3 or 4 of them, maybe 5. They're a lot smaller than the bigger counterparts, the ultra and normal, homing and the non-homing one. This one, I think these ones are a lot smaller, fireball, but yeah, I think you shoot like 3 or 4 of these. They're decent damage. I actually use these a little bit at the moment. I've been using them until I get this one, so it's okay. It's not terrible, but you don't see it often. Walnut, I see a lot of people use it. I'm gonna put it B tier in terms of popularity. It's okay. I see it's a bit of a mixed feeling. I see more people use Walnut half of the time than I do Iron Maiden because people can't. Basically, this is the same as P Gatling and Super Beam Jump and all that, and Beam Bomb. Walnut is, I reckon, the best one to have until you get King Johnny. Like you can have Iron Maiden, but this covers more ground. It covers less height. Like this one covers like from your bottom of your feet of your cactus to about your nose or your mouth. This one covers basically waist, and that's about it. So in terms of coverage, I would prefer to have probably Walnut because it spreads out wider and might block off some splash damage. But in terms of like height wise, I reckon Iron Maiden. I see more people using Walnut than do Iron Maiden, so that's just my opinion. Energy Warp, I reckon it's A tier personally. No, I'm joking. I reckon it's B tier. It does a trick. Again, it's similar to regular Spikeweed, regular Goop, regular Guard Drone. It's there. It's been around since Garden Warfare 1, and personally, it's good. It would get you places, and a lot of people use this on Walnut Hills to get into the final objective on the mansion part. So it's actually pretty good. I do like it. If you Could go a little bit further with them. I would like it more. Maybe B plus tier, but a little bit short on the range. But I reckon they'll find the way they are. What is this? This is Blazing Blast. Is this Blazing Blast? Yeah, that's Smoldering Madness. Yeah, Blazing Blast. This thing's just stupid. I'm gonna put it in A tier. The range on it is nice and short. Thank God. Like the amount of times I've actually avoided this thing because of the range. It's so short. It basically blowing bubbles out your nose. You're not gonna get far with it. But I've died to it a lot of times. It's the same thing with Smoldering Madness and Leaf Shield. I reckon these three are A. I'm gonna put Leaf Shield in S tier. I'll explain that in a minute. But these two I reckon are A tier. They're both good. I see a lot of people use them. I've used them when I used to level up Torchwood. They're both decent to get kills with as well, and they will kick your ass, especially if you're close range. So stay away from Torchwood. Leaf Shield S tier. It lasts for ages. It blocks off ZPGs. It blocks off imp hunts. It blocks off nearly everything, man. It lasts for a long time. It's your best friend. It's way better than the Iron Citron Shield and the walnuts and the other shields in this list. It's just the better shield compared to all of the others. It's super, super annoying. Like, you see 9 times out of 10, as soon as a Torchwood comes up close and they use these two abilities here, they will engage this and try and kill you. I guarantee it. It's just ridiculous. This one, I'm not sure what this ability is. I'm not sure what this one is, so I'm gonna guess it's the one where they charge at you. You know, the big tree ability where they run at you. I've never used it. I don't even remember this ability, so I'm just gonna put it C tier for now. We're gonna move on real quick. Um, this thing's okay. I'm gonna put this one C tier, and I'm gonna put them both B tier actually because hear me out. It's not super OP. I don't see it often. Mainly people get kills with it. You know, the bolt blast on any engineer. It could be landscaper, plumber, painter, mechanic. People use it for a lot of different reasons. People use it to counter chompers. People use it to get kills. Personally, I also see it as a shield because whenever I shoot a shock shot at an engineer with this thing, it seems like their damage reduction is increased heavily. Like it's just super super OP in terms of defense for some reason on my like on my behalf. But in terms of like popularity, has good range, damage is great. It lasts relatively okay. You will get maybe 1 2 kills with it if you're lucky. But yeah, it's pretty OP. Reminds me of like a shorter version of Peak Gatling. If it was a bit longer, maybe B plus, low A plus, A minus. But because it lasts like not incredibly long, it's kind of like a massive SMG. Before you know it, you're over and done with in terms of like ammo. So if it was a bit more ammo, I reckon maybe A minus. But yeah, I reckon those two abilities sit comfortably. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be my tier list for the abilities on Garden Warfare 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think I've ranked them relatively well in terms of like again how OP they are, how many people use it, how I think they are in terms of my experiences with them, and some pretty controversial stuff in there. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I've actually quite enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see more tier lists like this. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like, subscribe as well. We're on the road to 1.1k, which is awesome. Huge thank you for watching as always. Stay hydrated, turn the notification bell on so you never miss a live stream, and stay hydrated. Keep on gaming, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for a live stream. Peace.